he can play in high-pressure situations.
Right, and he seems pretty damn intelligent. He makes right reads.
Yeah.
Look, granted, especially last night, TCU's defense was not very good.
There's a lot of factors that play into that.
Yes.
But yes.
Exactly. So, yeah, I would take him in the 6th round, no doubt. When you're drafting a quarterback in the 6th round, you're just hoping that he might be competent enough to, make the roster.
But the contrary of that, you have 2 guys that were drafted in the 6th round contributing to this team this year. So if you have a GM capable, then you're not throwing away picks on a QB that might be a Jake, Rudock or a Brad Kaya.
Yeah, but then what is the path to the backup quarterback?
To me, you go get him back.
I think so as well.
I mean, I look at what Buffalo did in getting Case Keenum, and they addressed their situation perfectly. Super Bowl caliber team that might need them for 4 games or something like that. And even
make a U-turn.
They lost Josh Allen for the year, might be able to navigate them through the playoffs. I mean, I would look right now I think one of the big contenders in this league that has not dealt with it, I think the Bengals. Like if they lose,
who's it? Byron Allen? Or not Byron Allen?
It's one of the Allens.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would be wanting to upgrade that position because, especially with them, I mean, Mixon's a nice running back. He's not like an anchor running back, though. They're not like the Niners where they can rely on their run game. They're a pass-first team. They got weapons at receivers, and if you don't have a quarterback that can at least, do some of the same things that Burrow can, like I don't think Purdy would be doing as well with the Bengals. No, it's a different built team.
Right. You have, you got McCaffrey there. You got Kittle, like you said. All right. It's time for news. Here's that.
Well, a 14-year-old girl was seriously injured after a can of hairspray exploded in her face. This is so scary. This freak accident happened on Saturday at a Detroit hair salon after this can of hairspray was left too close to a curling iron. So obviously when that heat from that curling iron got too close, that can exploded. The 14-year-old has lost sight in one of her eyes. Her eye socket was shattered and her nose was broken. It says also including muscle and bone inside her mouth, which are fractured as well. Oh, just a horrendous story. The teen is obviously recovering, but here's the mother of the girl talking about the stylist not taking responsibility for the injury.
She tells me, I don't have insurance, I don't own the shop, I'm leasing the shop. So I say, well, my baby is here in the hospital. What are we gonna do? And that was it.
It's so devastating. It sounds like the teen found this woman on social media, has a big social media following. It did say on her social media page, it said, please be advised that I am an unlicensed hairstylist attending cosmetology school in order to obtain my license. So I don't know where this goes from here, but hopefully this young girl makes a full recovery. I don't know if she's going to regain her eyesight or not, but hopefully everything else, she recovers quickly. This is pretty sweet. A West Michigan native has made it on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. So congrats to her. She's a former Michigan State graduate, a Silver Lake native, Ariana Forwarda. She made the list after co-founding this company called Half Days, which is a women's ski apparel brand. So I've never heard of it. It's very new. I'm going to have to check it out. She's 27 years old, very young. She founded the company with, it sounds like, a friend of hers. And they say they're going to address the gap in functional and stylish ski wear for women. It was just launched in November of 2020.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. It sounds like it's already very successful. A student is in custody after a threat was made on the social media platform targeting Adrian High School. So I'm unaware of when this threat was actually made, but police became aware of the threat on Monday. There was a picture of an airsoft rifle that was posted to a social media platform, and it had the caption, "Don't come to school tomorrow," and they were targeting Adrian High School. Authorities say they did interview a bunch of students, and one student is in custody. Police also say they have recovered that airsoft rifle. The number of traffic deaths was down slightly during the first 9 months of 2022, but pedestrian and cyclist deaths continue to rise. So an estimated 31,785 people were killed in crashes from January through September of last year, and that's down 0.2% from the same time in 2021. So a very, very slight drop, which is good. Obviously, anything that's down is a good thing when it comes to traffic deaths, but not a lot. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is just telling people to continue to drive safely, watch out for vulnerable road users like pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists, because those are still rising. The number of cyclists killed rose 8% through September of last year, and then motorcyclist deaths rose 5%, and pedestrian deaths were up by 2%. A suspected drunk driver led police on this high-speed chase in Washington over the weekend. Police were trying to pull the driver of a truck over. They were driving really erratically. The driver did not pull over. Like I said, led them on a high-speed chase. We're going over 100 miles per hour. Something strange happened during this pursuit. There was a passenger in the truck, and the passenger decided to call 911. And they weren't calling 911 because of the driver of the... They were calling 911 to complain about the police and how fast police were driving. I don't think it got them anywhere because eventually they were pulled over. The driver was arrested for drunk driving. The passengers, there was another one, were released. So despite making that phone call to 911, the passengers were let go.
Yeah.
Interesting though. Like
Yes.
the police are chasing me. They're driving over 100 miles an hour. I don't know what to do. Pull over.
Well, exactly. So stupid.
I know.
All right, thank you very much, Heather. Our telephone number, 248-539-9797. TJ Lang will be here at 9 o'clock. Coming up next, you're a Michigan fan, or maybe even an Ohio State. Last night's game should piss you off. 97-1. I've got to tell you about the great folks at Planet Fitness and what they've done to me. They've made me realize how important getting in shape is, because I've lost 30 pounds since, doing the Planet Fitness stuff. And I love everything they got there, but especially, I'm a cardio guy, elliptical, recumbent bike, because I like sitting down and being comfortable. You go to the gym there, you put on your AirPods, everything's good, big TVs. It's a lot of fun to work out there. And if you want to do the weights, they got all the weights. They got the 30-minute circuit there as well. And right now, it's a great deal that's ending up in a few days. Here's the deal. You join now for $1, and then it's just $10 a month. And there's no commitment. You can cancel anytime. Trust me, you're not going to cancel, because getting in great shape improves your, obviously, physical outlook, but it also your mental outlook. You feel better when you do these type of things, working out. It's great. There are over 50 locations in the Metro Detroit area. You can either join in any club or online at www.planetfitness.com. Place judgment-free zone, like I always say, hassle-free. It's a great, great place. So join today. Planet Fitness. It's a judgment-free zone.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. Get started for just $40 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card. Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restricted supply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet. And Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rate supply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of the top 3 carriers. Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home, or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike Papura of National Benefit Plans. For affordable health insurance, call 877-734-2200.
Now, text or call the ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
The telephone number is 248-539-9797. TJ Lang will be here at 9 o'clock. A lot of Lions as the season ended Sunday night. Brad Holmes will speak today. Dan Campbell spoke yesterday. The locker room, I was there talking to some of the players, and everybody was really, really upbeat. Everybody was looking forward to next season, as they should. There's no doubt about it. All right, yesterday was also the national championship game, which I got to admit, I thought started at like 8:15, and then at 7:45, when I just flipped around to see what they were doing in the pregame, Georgia's already leading 7-0, it seemed.
Yeah.
And they went on to my father would say, schmeist. They schmeist TCU 65 to 7. Now, John, if you're a Michigan fan, or even an Ohio State, actually more if you're an Ohio State, because Ohio State basically had that game won, and if Ruggles makes that field goal, it's Ohio State versus TCU. But if you're a Michigan fan and you're looking at TCU just getting the crap kicked out of them, 65 to 7, what are you thinking? Are you sitting there like I was sitting there saying, "This is unbelievable"? I said, "Look, in a weird way, I'm glad that we're not going to be completely embarrassed and humiliated."
Oh, no, you want to be in the game.
You want to be in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have lost 65 to 7. They would have lost by double digits or more. Well, not more than double digits.
Well,
But
we never know
what I'm saying.
That's what you...
By 2 or 3 scores. That's what you think after watching them, okay? Because you saw what they did to you last year as well. If you're an Ohio State fan, you're sitting there saying, "Oh my God, we were one field goal away from winning the national championship because we would have beaten TCU because we beat Georgia."
Right, and then, okay, so if you're going to go that route, well, if we'd have beat Georgia, we'd have beat TCU, and then Michigan thinks, well, if we handled Ohio State in their house,
right,
then we could have played with Georgia. It's all, candy and nuts and, what could have been.
Right.
I was in a bit of a mood all weekend long, simply because after the show on Friday, I wanted to be going to Los Angeles to prepare for a national championship broadcast and watch my team, my school, have a chance, be in the game, be in the conversation, and we didn't have that. So I was, like I said, in a bit of a mood this weekend. And I don't know if last night's game made me feel better or worse, but I had a hard time watching SportsCenter all week long because of the previews and watching TCU preparing to play where I felt we should have been. And so last night's game really had no effect on me. Like you, I thought it was a 8-17 kick, 8-13 kick, and
they did it.
Sitting down to dinner, and I get the notification that Stetson Bennett scored the first touchdown. I'm like, what the heck? It started already?
Yeah.
My desire to watch that game was probably lower than it normally is.
248-539-9797. Because there were people that, look, I thought TCU was going to give Michigan a game. I thought Michigan was going to win. Gov, you thought that Michigan was just going to annihilate them, and basically Georgia did what you thought Michigan was going to do.
That's why I picked Georgia. to win in picks last
Yes.
week. I thought TCU deserved to be there, and this sounds like I'm speaking out of both ends of my mouth when I say, yeah, they deserve to be there. They earned the bid, but I also think that they were wrong. Well, the magic that they had all year, the Cinderella type aspect, the fact that, I'd asked you guys the question yesterday, we never got to it with Lions, but I thought they would have been the most improbable college football national champion in my life. Like, I think the only thing that would have compared to would have been the Georgia Tech split national team with
Colorado.
With Colorado. Bobby Ross coached that Georgia Tech team, but that team was on nobody's radar that year,
Right.
and they just kept winning and winning and winning. And I just thought it was a classic striking of midnight last night to a degree. And Michigan gave them the game with the pick sixes and the 2 turnovers. It's a 28-point reversal last night. Like, with Michigan, I think Michigan will play Georgia. We went somewhere between 17 and 10-point deficit. It kind of depends how the game goes, and so I feel like Ohio State was better built to beat them because I think
they have elite receivers.
Yeah, and Michigan doesn't. And Michigan's success the last 2 years is largely based on their offensive line and defensive, the trenches.
Right,
but that gets neutralized against these SEC teams.
And it got neutralized against TCU too.
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't have, though.
I know.
I feel like Michigan was physically superior to TCU, but because of collectively quarterback throwing 2 pick sixes and maybe saying some things before the game that weren't that wise. And I also think you've got to look at Jim Harbaugh's preparation between the end of the regular season or Big Ten championship game and bowl game. It isn't good.
No, the record speaks for itself. It's 1-6.
Something needs to be done differently in that 3 to 4 week stretch of, whether it's the college football playoffs or it's another bowl game. Now, other bowl games become a little bit wonky now because of players opting out,
right,
and who you're playing and how you're preparing. But if you're playing in the college football playoffs and the first time you have that experience, you get blown out by Georgia, and then the second time you get that experience, you lose to what you feel is an inferior team. Something in that preparation needs to be done differently.
No doubt. Let me ask you guys this question. The AP top 25. Georgia is 1. Who would you vote for 2?
There's no right answer here.
No,
in my mind, I think you've got to respect the TCU. That they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
And Ohio State lost 2 games. Again, it's an earning versus what you think. I mean, it was we all said we thought Alabama would beat TCU, but they earned the spot.
Yeah.
It's got to be number 1 is obviously Georgia,
right?
2 is TCU, 3 is Michigan, 4 is Ohio State.
You're correct. That's the way it ended up. Alabama's 5.
Yep.
I just want to know how. I was pretty upset last night and then this morning. It's always a good gauge. You wake up and you feel the same as when you went to bed in terms of. Michigan. It's a joke what Michigan did in that game against TCU. People should be, regardless of what you thought they do against Georgia.
They blew their opportunity.
You want to sit here and everybody just wants to knock Ryan Day all day long and stuff. He's got a pretty good track record of getting prepared for the postseason. He beat Clemson in the national semifinal. He took Georgia to the wire. Probably decided to settle for a field goal a little bit too much late in that game. They blew a 14-point. They were right there. They had it. Who knows if Harrison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, what if he plays? Look, people want to annihilate Ryan Day. They played well in that Rose Bowl last year. That was a tight game. They did have to come back in that game, but they look when they get into their first postseason game. Ohio State is offensively great. They're ready. I mean, he knocked out Trevor Lawrence in his last college game. That was the COVID year. A lot of people forget about that.
Right?
Yeah, and so every year that when you don't, there's only one team right now in the FBS that can finish with a season that they believe is 100% truly successful. That's winning a national title.
Right.
And if you're not that team, then you've got to find a way, to take that next step. And for a number of years for Michigan, it was simply beating Ohio State. All right, so 2 years ago, you were able to get that done with a Big Ten title. So you take that next step. You get to the college football playoffs. In the semifinal round, you get blown out. So how do you take that next step? Well, then you prepare. You got to go through the whole process again, and you get to that semifinal game, and you feel like you're the better team. You've got to go out there and win that game. And then if you lose in the national title game, all right,
you've taken
the next step. And you've got to then find a way how to compete with that national title team to take the next step in the following year. And that's where Michigan just fell short, is they didn't take that next step.
Right. Whether it was preparation, whether it was just gameplay, whether it was everything. Players, coaches, it was a complete failure. And they still
in that game.
Had it in that game. That's what I'm talking about.
This is where Michigan's at least entering postseason play right now. I mean, I don't know if they would have beaten USC if they had played them. I don't think they would have beat them.
I think they would have, because I think TCU's defense is better than USC's. But whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows? I do know this, that they are. I've seen a couple, SI and somebody else, be way too early top 25 for next year.
Yeah.
Michigan's 2 in both of them.
Well, with Corum coming back and you got Edwards, it's just going to be a better 1-2 punch. You're still going to have a really good offensive line.
I know.
And JJ should be better. The thing is who's going to be, they need an elite receiver.
Yes.
I mean, it's really hard to talk about the way too early because, I mean, what man knows the future?
Well, we don't know who the coach, yeah, sure.
97 won the ticket.
Hey, New Year's resolution. If your New Year's resolution is to lose weight, you can get there faster than you think. And
you got to be enthusiastic about
with Ideal You. Go to idealu.us. I'm enthusiastic about losing weight because I lost 60 pounds this past year. You can lose 20 pounds in just 30 days. Whether your resolution is to lose 10 pounds or 100 pounds, Ideal You works, and it works fast. I already mentioned my total overall weight loss. That was 60 pounds. I lost 10 pounds in just the first 10 days. So you see results fast. And it's something that you can get behind, because here's the other thing. You get to eat real food, and in the process, you're going to get assigned a weight loss coach, and they're going to work with you every step of the way. Your weight loss coach will help you lose weight. They will encourage you. They will tell you if you plateau, they're going to give you ways to get off that plateau and keep the train rolling. Go to idealu.us right now and sign up for a free body composition analysis, because you got to know where you start. It's $150 value free, and you're going to find out what your fat percentage is, water weight percentage, your bone mass, muscle mass, all of those different things. You're going to find out in that. Your weight loss coach is going to help you determine what those mean and how to proceed. But best of all, you're going to find out how to easily lose weight fast. Picture yourself 20 or 30 pounds lighter in just 30 days. You can make it happen now. All you got to do is go to idealu.us.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, 696 eastbound after Orchard Lake Road, an accident at Middle Belt is blocking the 2 left lanes. Also on 696 eastbound, the ramp to southbound M10, a crash is blocking the left lane along the ramp. 75 northbound at 12 Mile, an accident leaves only the right lane open. Traffic is slowing down right around 696. Couple issues still working along 94 heading westbound at Maross. There's an accident in the left lane, and after this at Cadjo, an accident on the right shoulder. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
The latest on your Detroit Lions. Download Necessary Roughness with TJ Lang and John Jansen today. Get it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This Odyssey.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Northville Lumber.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Marcus Freeman. The 37-year-old Notre Dame head coach didn't exactly wake up the echoes in his rookie season, but the Irish rebounded from early losses to Ohio State and Marshall to finish 9-4, capped by a Gator Bowl victory over South Carolina. Freeman's birthday gift recently arrived via the transfer portal. Former Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman. I'm Boomer Esiason.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just 1 pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. With Prilosec OTC, it's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Rise and shine with delicious morning deals like 2 for $5 breakfast. Choose from the tasty sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McGriddles, or egg McMuffin. Any two for just $5. Breakfast hours only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Applied Innovation customer Colleen Lowe, Director of Marketing and Admissions at Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic School, admires Applied Innovation's unique culture.
They treat their customers well, and the only way that you can do that is if you as an employee are treated well yourself. I think it would be a great place to work. They're completely involved in everything that they do. There always seems to be a smile behind it.
Applied Innovation, where innovation translates into smiles.
Whether it's somebody that's answering the phone or showing up here, there's a joy about them that when they leave here, they're so pleasant, and it makes us want to be pleasant in return.
You really depend on Applied Innovation to help produce your marketing pieces in-house and more.
They're teaching us how to use the equipment that we have to our benefit and also to save us money. So they are there whenever we need them, and I really mean that.
Applied Innovation, reliable solutions for all your business challenges. Call Applied Innovation today, 800-521-0983, or visit appliedinnovation.com.
I used to get frequent heartburn at night, so I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine.
1 pill in the morning, 24 hours, 0 heartburn with Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today. Powered by Golling Auto Group. Experience the Golling difference at Golling.com. 97 won the ticket and the Bet 1270. Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Jacksonville Jaguars host the Los Angeles Chargers. Coverage starts Saturday at 8 on the Bet 1270 Detroit. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
At the light, turn right onto 4th Street.
485-399-9797. By the way, Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reported that Jim Harbaugh's virtual interview with the Broncos was about 2 hours.
In 6.8 miles,
as
turn right onto King Road.
a top candidate, along with, of course, Sean Payton. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, because nobody can predict the future.
No man knows.
We have some ticket texts on, if you're a Michigan fan, what you thought about last night. You're kicking yourself. If you're a Ohio State fan, you really got to be kicking yourself. If Michigan knew how to score in the red zone and didn't turn the ball over, they would have dominated season. Right. The Queen had, she'd be king. It's simple. Georgia's coaching staff is a lot smarter. You never heard that expression before?
I've heard it, but for this one?
Well, yeah, if
going to extremes a little bit.
Variations. If my auntie had an A, she'd be my uncle?
Right, yeah, same thing.
That if's a little more absolute.
I don't know.
Not these days.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. It's simple. Georgia's coaching staff is a lot smarter than Michigan's. They knew how to exploit the TCU defense better. True. They also had better athletes, I believe. I completely forgot about the game. Looked it up on my phone. Seeing they scored halftime. Was glad I didn't watch. That's from Sean in White Lake. Tim in Grosse Pointe texts in. TCU is a fraud, Gov? Michigan lost to the fraud, then.
Yep.
Yeah, the frog.
The fraud? Yep. What about the fraud of the Big Ten? The fraud of Michigan's schedule? They beat OSU. That's it. Big Ten garbaggio. College football is stupid. Okay. By the way, Michigan State, they lost 4 of their losses were to teams in the top 8. Because Washington, Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. Still losses, but it's interesting.
Okay.
Georgia is...
That's three other losses. Teams not in the top 8.
That's true, too. Just pointing it out, that's all. Georgia, one less score, 58-24. That's what they think the Michigan-Georgia game would be. In the two major sports, the Big 12 is every bit as good as the Big 10, still after being pillaged. Well, they definitely are in basketball. There's no doubt about that. They are probably the best conference in college basketball. And in football, top to bottom, it's a different style of play, but you can argue. I think the Big 10 has more teams that are in the are good.
More teams on the same level with one another in the Big 12.
Yes.
Or doubled back.
Right.
They don't have some, well, they're only one division, but they don't have some decrepit West or whatever.
Yes.
Look,
the West is getting better, though.
We say things here and then they get taken so much farther than they're meant to be. The Big 12 is probably the third best conference in college football.
As of now.
You know,
Texas and
better
Oklahoma.
than a Pac-12 and ACC, I think it is too, even though you've had Clemson. I just look at when it gets into showtime, this is at least the second time a Big 12 team's given up 60-plus in a playoff game.
Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma did it to and that was LSU. That team was a great team. But, Greg, I mean, I don't think there's been another one that's been 60, but 50.
You're asking quite a bit to have 60, so I don't think there's another.
50s maybe ring a bell.
50 was Georgia. They played in 50 was overtime. Georgia, Oklahoma, and then 17 Rose Bowl.
That was great. Baker Mayfield. That was a great game. I think you were all too high on Michigan's physicality. When you look back on the OSU game, they won off big plays and broke 2 big runs in the second half. That's true to a certain extent.
Yeah, but in the second half, last year they dominated the line of scrimmage.
Right.
On both sides.
This year he makes a point with big plays. Next year I think is Michigan's best year with all the players coming back and before the field gets bigger, meaning the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you on paper, all right. And now again, it's hard for us to predict the future. No man knows the future, but on paper, with a returning starting quarterback that you expect to be better from year 1 to year 2.
Correct.
With a 1-2 punch in the backfield that we learned yesterday, Blake Corum will be back. Donovan Edwards will be in the backfield. This offense should be efficient. All right, and now they still need somebody to emerge as a stud receiver.
Correct.
That's the big question mark offensively.
Who's going to play center?
Well, I mean, TBD.
Okay.
All right, so Olu won't be back. We know that. And then you look, and so there is going to be, I think the deadline is January 16, where you've got to hear from Trevor Keegan or Zach Zinter on whether they're going to declare for the NFL or come back for another year. Again, so, TBD on the offensive line.
Right.
Defensively, Mozzie declared for the NFL. Mike Morris has declared for the NFL. Taylor Upshaw has transferred to Coach Prime out in Colorado. But I think you had really good depth on the defensive front. You've got Junior Colson back at linebacker. You've got some really good talent. And in the secondary, you get Makari Page. They do have a lot of talent coming back.
They also, if you're going to play the schedule game, Penn State and Michigan State are on the road this year, and Nebraska is on the road too this year, which they'll be better. I'm not going to say
we'll see. Yeah, again, TBD.
Exactly.
No man knows the future.
Exactly. Georgia is attacking every single play, and the other teams don't know their tendencies. They don't try to wear a clock down in 3 yards and cloud of dust. TCU knew our tendency, and it showed on the inside goal line screen that blew up. Michigan doesn't vertically attack teams enough. I definitely agree.
That was the conversation all year.
Yes, when we had it with Jim Harbaugh in person, it wasn't so much sizzle and trick plays and things like that. It was
you've got to get past this. To a degree, it's the thing that they kept saying: why stop running if they can't stop it? But you have to evolve as an offense too, and learn to go over the top and knock teams out quick instead of keeping them in games early in the in the first half and.
Stay in the right lane.
I fight this because philosophically I kind of agree. Why do something different if it's working?
Correct.
But it's sort of like
But it doesn't work
you know what it's
as
like?
much in the playoffs.
Well,
You know what it's playing Nick Saban Alabama football before Tua. It is.
Yeah, and but you also look at, okay, what type of changes did Michigan make last year? Instead of going with Cade McNamara, they made the change, and at that time, everybody's like, how do you make that change where a guy won a Big Ten championship, got you to college football playoffs? Well, you made that change because you felt like it offered you another element on offense. Now is the time to unlock that other element, and it's twofold. It's not just the deep passing game. It's the ability of JJ to make plays with his feet. Those called quarterback runs have to be a part of your normal offense.
Absolutely. All right. TJ Lang will be here shortly. We'll discuss the end of the Lions season, look at the NFL playoffs, and all sorts of stuff. Right after this Chris Villar update, 97.1 The Tick.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Sports headlines. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Applied Innovation. Georgia had a 3-point lead over TCU with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter of the national championship game, and that is as close as it would get. In fact, the Bulldogs blew away their opponent 65-7, the largest margin of victory in the title game by 20 points. Georgia, the first team to go back-to-back during the playoff era, they're also favored to win it all next season. While the Lions cleaned out their lockers, head coach Dan Campbell had a very simple message for his players as they embark for the offseason.
Be smart, be
safe. I don't want to go to any funerals. None of us do. They'll stay in touch with us, but it's really as simple as that, man. Be smart. It's not worth it. Trouble starts, go the other way. All those things. So, and that's really it right now.
Well, many players made sure to thank the Detroit fans for their support during the year, including the solid turnout at Lambeau during Sunday's final victory. Also, safety Deshaun Elliott says he may undergo surgery this offseason after playing through what he called horrible pain in Week 18. Michigan football gets a big return commitment for next season, but loses a few others. Blake Corum will be back, citing unfinished business. However, tight end Luke Schoonmaker and pass rushers Mozzie Smith and Mike Morse all declaring for the 2023 NFL Draft. Corum also says that he doesn't know if Jim Harbaugh will defect to the NFL again or not after he spoke with them and told him that he would be back. Also tonight, Red Wings, Pistons, and Michigan State hoops all in action. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, Stoney and Chance.